Hey guys, I'm HOJ, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a best of one standard event with a Boros Aggro deck that I've been working on. All the links will be in the description, and the top pinned comment will have a link if you'd like to subscribe, or if you'd like to become a member to have early access to my content, or if you'd like to do a one-time donation via Super Thanks. All right, let's hop into the deck. So there's a kind of a lot of really good payoffs right now for tokens and creating tokens. We have the new card in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Raphael, Tough Turtle, which is a 1/3 for 2 mana, which has Alliance. Whenever another creature you control enters, Raphael deals 1 damage to target opponent. We also have a full playset of Shocking Sharpshooter, which does the same thing from a previous set. And this creature also has Reach. And Raphael being a legendary creature, currently just running 1 copy. But I was looking to find as many payoffs for having creatures enter as possible. So this kind of harkens back to some of like the Boros Mobilize decks. With that said, we've got a full playset of Voice of Victory, which brings in 2/1/1 attacking Red Warrior tokens whenever this attacks. It also has the nice benefit of making opponents unable to cast spells on your turn. And then we also have Stadium Headliner at 1 mana, which has Mobilize 1, and also can be sacrificed to deal damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures you control. So a nice way to get a little bit of extra utility here. Other cards we have, Neighborhood Guardian is also another really nice way to get a payoff from having creatures enter the battlefield. Whenever another creature enters with power 2 or less, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And so since all the creatures that are typically going to be entering will be smaller than that, we're going to be able to buff our team pretty well. In addition, we have 1 copy of Arabella, Abandoned Doll. So this has, whenever it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. So another kind of payoff here. And then we do have also Howlsquad Heavy at 3 mana, which is a 2/3 for 3 Goblin Mercenary with Start Your Engines, and then other goblins you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token attacks this combat if able, and then with max speed, you can tap this to produce red mana for each goblin you control. So another way to kind of get recurring stream of creatures to help kind of either ping the opponent with Shocking Sharpshooter or Raphael, or give +1/+1 to creatures to a certain creature until end of turn. And then we also have 1 copy of Suki, Courageous Rescuer. This is a really nice payoff for creatures leaving the battlefield. So with Mobilize, creatures will leave at the end of the turn, and then you get to get a new 1/1 white ally creature token whenever that happens during your turn. Also, this gives a static +1/+0 to other creatures you control. And then we also have 1 copy of Delney, Streetwise Lookout, which gives creatures that you control power 2 or less. They can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. And then also this doubles the triggers on any creature with power 2 or less. So this is really nice with the majority of creatures we have in our deck. The other nice kind of payoff is we have a full playset of Frontline Rush. This can either be used to create 2/1/1 red goblin creature tokens, which has kind of nice synergy with Howlsquad Heavy, giving them haste, and then also just by triggering a lot of our effects. Or you can use it to give target creature +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So you can routinely use this for like anywhere from +2/+2 all the way up to like +8/+8, depending on how big your board is. The other cards we have at 1, we have a full playset of Hired Claw, which is just a really nice value, one of the best 1-drops in red. And so even though this doesn't create extra tokens, it can be used to grow, and you can also ping your opponent when you attack with it. And then 2 copies of Seam Rip. You could use like Burst Lightning in this place to get like extra chip damage in. Seam Rip is nice because it can hit certain problematic enchantments or artifacts or things that Burst Lightning can't do. So you could, kind of see which one is a better fit for your deck. And that's the deck. 2 copies of Dalkovan Encampment, which sort of gives us mobilize on a land, and then just a bunch of like starting towns, Multiversal Passage, Sunbillow Verge, Sacred Foundry, Inspiring Vantage, and a couple basic mountains, just to give us really good access to mana. This way we have the ability to produce 18 red mana on turn 1 and 18 white mana on turn 1 with a full 22 land here. So just really good access to mana. There are other cards that you could run. You could consider cards like Impact Tremors, which is an enchantment, which kind of also pings the opponent whenever creatures come into play. I chose not to include it because it doesn't do anything on a sort of on a dead board. You can't attack the opponent with it. So you could include it if you wanted to. I chose not to in this build, but that's another option. And then the other card would be War Leader's Cry, War Leader's Call, which is a 3 mana enchantment for 1 red, 1 white, and 1 other, which gives all your creatures +1/+1, and then also pings whenever you have a creature that enters. So that's the deck, and let's go ahead and hop in. But yeah, this has just been a lot of fun to play. I've done a number of kind of best of 1 tournaments here with this deck. And it's trophied a couple times. So I think it's gotten to 7 wins 3 separate times. I've used it on my tablet, so unfortunately I don't have that data. But, you know, a couple like 5 wins, 6 wins, and then a couple times where it actually hit the 7 wins. So I've been really happy with it. There are some matches that it can potentially struggle. It doesn't have access to like graveyard hate, so you just have to be faster than them. So there can be some tough matchups, but it is a fun deck to play. All right, we'll go ahead and lead out here with Neighborhood Guardian. This is kind of nice. We get an immediate pump if this resolves when we attack with our headliner. Okay, looks like they've got the counter. Alternatively, we could have waited to do like Frontline Rush end of turn, but Frontline Rush I think is typically better as a pump if you can get a nice board. So sometimes you just have to sort of fight through the counter spells. All right, now we can go for Shocking Sharpshooter, see if we can get that to resolve, and then get a little bit of extra chip damage. The extra reach that you get from the Sharpshooters and Raphael is really nice in this matchup specifically, just because, you know, we don't have a lot of haste on the deck, and so it's a really good way to kind of get those last couple points in. This way you can potentially like set up a turn where you can like play 2 creatures and ping the opponent, getting sort of pseudo haste. Okay, looks like we got a board wipe. And now we can play Raphael. And then we'll just, we could Frontline Rush right now, but if they have another like board wipe, I think I want to wait till end of turn. Even if they counter it, I think it's okay. Just don't want to play into like another full board wipe. Could Frontline Rush here, just before they draw a counter spell in case they have access to like another No More Lies. I think I actually probably will do that since they can no longer board wipe. This might affect the cards they draw, which is the downside, but I think overall I prefer to have the creatures. Okay, there's another Shocking Sharpshooter. Shelter by Ghost is pretty dead in this matchup. You kind of want to try to save it for like the final turn before you win the game, just because you can get blown out pretty easily. We could use it here if we wanted to, but I think we have other stuff to do. We can like draw cards and whatnot. And so I think let's first maybe try to get these map tokens going. Okay, happy with Hired Claw on top. Then we'll kind of spread out the tokens. And I guess we could just draw a card here in case they have like another board wipe. Maybe we want to hang on to the Sharpshooter. Maybe let's just do that instead. We could also just like Sheltered by Ghosts here, just to get like a minor like incremental advantage without opening ourselves up too much for a board wipe. I'm actually kind of okay with that. The life doesn't really matter in this matchup so much, but it's just kind of not getting blown out by playing this into counter magic or removal. So here I think we just push and kind of see what they do. Ooh, Aetherize is a really good one. Did not expect Aetherize in this matchup, but yeah, it's pretty effective. And ideally, you don't want to commit more than like 2 or 3 creatures to the board just to kind of avoid like a massive blowout. Encampment is a really nice pickup. Okay, I guess they had the double removal. That works. And Howlsquad Heavy is pretty nice here. They could certainly have counter magic, but I think we just want to try to get it out there. This is definitely an engine all of its own. And happy to keep voice on top. They can shuffle it away with Demolition Field. But I think we have enough mana that if they try to Demo Field, we just don't need the extra land, and we're fine with just going down a land. So we could hang on to the voice here and just try to kind of push with Howlsquad Heavy. We could also try to resolve voice because that way we could use encampment safely knowing that they can't react. I kind of like that plan. It also gives us the option to like Sheltered by Ghost safely if we want to do that. We are potentially walking into like a board wipe if we go that direction is the only thing. Let's see. So I guess we're hitting for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So not quite enough mana to do all of it if we go for the voice play. So maybe we just go for encampment and just hope it works. And then have like voice kind of sitting there as backup. Could also try to use like the map token here. I think maybe using the map token. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna, since we can't kill them in one turn, I think I'm gonna hold off on the voice here, just in case they have like an incoming board wipe. So again, if they have 2 pieces of removal here, it's kind of awkward, but it's a decent chance we get to have a little bit of a nice attack here. They could have another Aetherize. That could happen too. Yeah, and I guess they have the Aetherize. So like maybe the safer play is like not attacking with a Howlsquad Heavy there and just trying to really go slow. Yeah, I suppose the voice would have prevented that if we had resolved the voice. Could have gotten a decent amount of damage in. Aetherize is a strange one for this deck for sure. Maybe just kind of like a budget version with no like Day of Judgment. I guess they have no witnesses. All right, I guess we might be out of time if they have the River Churn Monument in hand. We could just, the game just could be over, unfortunately. I guess let's just, yeah, try to do a little bit of damage here. So maybe we missed our opportunity. Also, I guess we could have held back on the voice there. But if they have River Churn, it's just over. Yeah, and they do. But they don't have double blue, which is great. This is nice, because now we can use Seam Rip to get rid of the River Churn. So because they didn't have the mana, we might be able to sneak this out. Now we can also use Sheltered by Ghosts here since they're tapped out, and we can get their Iceberg without them being able to scry. Yeah, kind of an interesting game. We definitely could have... Wow, they have another River Churn, but no double blue. Probably makes them think that they should have used this demo field earlier to get access to it. Close game. I guess if they have like another Aetherize, they could still have it. They do seem to have a lot of like mass board wipes. Aetherize split up, no witnesses. But yeah, they're 1 mana short. Very close game there. Okay, opening hand looks nice. We've got 1-drop, 2-drop. Can lead out here with the Hired Claw. Then the question always is if you want to play like Guardian or Sharpshooter after that. It kind of depends on, I guess, like what they play in the situation. Usually I like to get Guardian going a little bit sooner because it can help you push past bigger blockers. But in like matchups where they don't really play creatures, that's kind of less relevant. Sharpshooter can be nice against like mono red if they happen to have like slick shot show-offs. Okay, so it looks like some sort of Golgari, maybe control deck or something like that. So yeah, let's go for the Neighborhood Guardian with green mana. They're going to have bigger creatures. We're going to want to have access to the ability to pump a little bit. Hopefully we can draw another white source to get access to Suki, which is really, really nice with Mobilize. But Delney's also great. Not sure if our opponent is... Okay, I guess they're not stuck on land. Okay, starting town is great. I still think it's Delney here, though. We get double triggers off both creatures, and this is just a really nice pickup. We can already push past their Land of War Elves. And we're potentially representing lethal next turn if they don't have blockers. But I've been really happy with Howlsquad Heavy. It's just like such a good value card. It's not quite as powerful as like the old Gideon that could just make 2/2s for 0. That was crazy busted. But it still feels really powerful. Just to create a unending string of bodies. All right, so now we can go like Shelter by Ghost plus Sharpshooter here, or we could grow our Higher Claw. But let's... Also, a nice kind of side note, Shelter by Ghost on Sharpshooter can be pretty cool, because then you start gaining life off the creatures that you ping them with. But Hired Claw is a nice one for that, since it's going to be double pinging itself with Delney. So let's do that. And we'll keep it at, we'll keep these creatures at 2 power just to make sure they double trigger. Can make Delney the 4/4. And that'll do it. Yeah, without any opposition or much opposition from the opponent, this deck can pretty consistently close out on turn 4 if you're, yeah, again, not facing lots of removal. There's a lot of decks in the format that can do that already. I mean, you've got Reanimator that can kill on turn 4, and same with Omniscience and lots of other decks, but just being able to do so is sort of a nice welcome gift. All right, opening hand looks good. We've got Seam Rip and Hired Claw for turn 1. is options, and then voice and sharpshooter. If you can play voice on turn 2, this is typically one of your best turn 2 plays, just because like playing voice and then the next turn playing sharpshooter like allows you to attack and then get the double trigger. So you want to get voice out as soon as possible. And I think Sheltered by Ghosts is just a mandatory considering how much life we're paying for our land. So you definitely want to have the full play set of Sheltered by Ghosts. If you're unsure like which mana you need, like in this case we've got Sacred Foundry, so we probably just play it this turn. But actually, since we're running 8 lands that come into play tapped if it's not like the first, second, or third turn or first 3 lands, you do want to get them out as soon as possible. So actually here I'm probably going to play the starting town first. Since you have like the 4 Inspiring Vantages and the 4 starting towns, you want to really prioritize them as soon as possible, and then be able to use like your Sacred Foundries and whatever else to get like your critical 4th land, so you can double spell that turn. So when you're prioritizing like which lands you want to play, that does really come into it. All right, this is enough of a threat that I think we just want to seam rip it, and then we can just save some life on the Sacred Foundry here. Like we could also Shelter by Ghosts, but if they have like Burst Lightning, it's pretty bad. So let's just get rid of their Razorkin. Like typically you want to develop a little bit more before using your Seam Rip and stuff like that, but like against a burn deck, they can just get you low so fast that seemed like a pretty juicy target for our Seam Rip. Yeah, now since they have 1 mana open for like Burst Lightning or whatnot, we're not going to go for Shelter by Ghost this turn for that reason. Also, it's nice to develop voice because this like allows us to do stuff on our turn if it lives and them not be able to react to it. So it's kind of a nice way to, since they're probably going to Burst Lightning, I think the play here is we attack first before casting Voiced. So that way we essentially get like a free 2 damage in, since they most likely will not block. On the other hand, if they block and then wait for us to pump and then Burst Lightning in response, it is pretty bad. So maybe it's better to like go Voice first. And I think they might they might make that play. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so yeah, maybe it would have been better to Voice there. I just kind of talked myself into it. Yeah, because now they just time walk us for forcing the pump, and I think we kind of have to do it because otherwise they just get a free kill. So we force them to use the card. Yeah, so in hindsight there, maybe it would have been better to just play Voice first. Like, they didn't have the true blowout with, like, the Burst Lightning, but this was still pretty bad. Challenger number 2. This is a really nice enchantment. I've just been very impressed with this card, just in general. Okay, it's a nice pickup, so we can double spell. We're down to 11 already, which is pretty brutal. So we could like Voice plus Hired Claw if we think we can live through the turn. I don't think they kill us in one turn necessarily. Otherwise, we could just like Hired Claw and like take their Challenger if we think that they can pump it. But then again, if they have like Burst Lightning or something, we're just really we're really in a problematic place there. So I think I'm just going to go with the first play of the Voice plus Hired Claw. Yeah, and Ruckus is really good on the Challenger. Hopefully we survive this attack. Kind of curious what the face down card is. Maybe just like a land, but curious how big a creature this might be. Most of the creatures will probably be 2 power or less. It's possible it's like, you know, a flying dragon or something like that. But I think this is probably a safe block. If they have burn, you know, they can use it anyways. So I think I'm just going to go there. We could also consider trading Hired Claw for it, but I think we don't really need to yet. That just kind of seemed like a free attack for them, so maybe they were just hoping to sneak in some damage. Okay, so this is probably the one that helps refill their hand, the 2-1 with Prowess. So yeah, now we definitely want to pick up Sheltered by Ghosts, probably on the Challenger here. Most likely on the Voice just because it has 3 toughness. So we'll give them a card. But yeah, I think that's a pretty big threat. And now we can try to get some life back and hopefully survive the counterattack here. Could hold back and like not attack with us and potentially like threaten here, but I think trading a little damage is okay. So I don't think we just lose to their attack. And they do have the Hellkite. Okay, unfortunately that's pretty rough. We're not dead, but we're very close. Very surprised that they didn't attack with the other 2. That was a 4 free damage. They could have just pushed right there. They may not need it, but yeah, now we can use Frontline Rush to pump Voice of Victory's power to hopefully try to stay in this game. And I think we kind of have to do that. Otherwise, we could go for like Guardian, which would give this +2/+2, getting us back up to 9. So if we go for Guardian, we've got more on the field. We're at 2 fewer life. Actually, this will give us 3 more life. So I think we probably just go for Frontline Rush play here. And since this won't block very well, I think we probably push with everything. That gets us up to 10. Maybe we have to hold back with Hired Claw, actually. Yeah, I think we just push with Voice of Victory. We potentially have to chump here just to stay in this game. Or actually, I guess we gain 4 life this way. Maybe we can sneak a double block here. So we go to 7. If they draw a burn, they can get us. We could also now play like Howlsquad Heavy if we think we can survive. That gives us another blocker on the ground. I kind of like that, actually. So even though it's post-combat, we don't get the benefit of the extra creature. It's kind of a nice big body, and it's... although we could have played Shocking Sharpshooter to block the Hellkite. That actually might have been better. Like if they have like Helix, or not Helix, but yeah, maybe that was a misplay there. Because now they can hit us for 6 with the Cool But Rude plus Hellkite, and if they have any more burn, we just die. Yeah, maybe we should have gone for the Sharpshooter play there. So if we had done, yeah, if we had Sharpshooter there, we might have been able to survive. I guess they had the shock anyways, but it would have given us a better chance. I am certainly not a perfect player, but it's kind of interesting to sort of like look at the different options. Opening hand looks good. Nice 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. And this combo is really nice too, because you can go like Headliner on 1 and then Neighborhood Guardian and allow this to be essentially a 2 toughness creature. Again, I think we'll lead out with a starting town for that same reason, that we just want to have the most access to untapped lands. Even though it will cost us a little bit of life here. And so they're representing the Shard Mage's Rescue. So yeah, here we can go for Guardian. We could also go for Raphael, which blocks Survivor a little better, unless they put something on it. But since they can threaten Shard Mage's Rescue anyways, it's not really safe to block. So I'd probably go with just Guardian here. If we want to, we could also Seam Rip the Scavenger if we feel like that's that much of a threat. But I think saving this for like when they go for Shelter by Ghost is better. So yeah, after all of that, let's just do the Guardian play. Here we'll put the +1/+1 on the token to kind of incentivize them to block that instead of the Headliner in case they want to trade. Just a minor thing, but just sneaking through a little extra damage always feels good. Yeah, in this matchup, you want to try to hold your Seam Rip as long as humanly possible. If they like get set up in a situation where they're going to have like double strike or something just truly horrendous. So this is a safe block if we want it, but I think Guardian is so good that we just hang on to Guardian. Frontline Rush is potentially very powerful a little bit later. Now we can double spell. We can go for like Raphael plus Seam Rip if we want to. My concern there is, again, holding on to our Seam Rip for them trying to turn the tables with Sheltered by Ghosts. We want to have an answer to it. Even though we have Headliner, I think it's better to hold the Seam Rip here and then just go for like Howlsquad Heavy. This is still a really powerful card, and it gives the nice benefit of like triggering Guardian. Now we can also, this is great because we can pump Guardian, get in with Guardian. Although we are at 13, so we have to be a little careful here that we don't just die. But I think we maybe survive one turn. So we pump Guardian and then push with all 3. And now we can use this extra token to pump Headliner. Just so they can't like single trade it. We're still one turn away from double strike, and that's usually the turn they try to like go all out and give it flying or some other nonsense. So hopefully we're safe next turn. And then like if we can make it to next turn, we can try to use like Frontline Rush to push like an extra 5 or 6 damage with Raphael and just kind of go totally nuts. Yeah, if they want a double trade here, I am so happy about that. I will take that all day long. All right, so if they're going to try to make Survivor like their big like win condition, that's why we're really happy to hold on to the Seam Rip. Especially if they go for like Sheltered by Ghosts or something like that now. They might just want to like wait for like the double strike turn to like give it flying and go for the win. So we kind of have to win this turn anyways. I suppose we can use like Headliner for like instant reaction to it. But if they have like flying plus Shard Mage's Rescue, then they still beat us. So now we can double Frontline Rush, and this is probably just game. So we're going to have 5 creatures, that's +10/+10, and they only have Shard Mage's Rescue. Yeah, that's game. Yeah, you really want to try to save these for like this point of the game if at all possible, because it's super powerful late game, or like turn 3 onward essentially. Really turn 4 onward. All right, and that's going to do it. Yeah, and all they have here is Shard Mage's Rescue, which isn't going to save them. Yep. Just show them the other one. That should do it. Swing for a cool 14. But yeah, I think that Howlsquad Heavy adds so much to this deck. It's like everything this deck wants to do. Like that plus Raphael is really nice. No one drop, but happy to keep. Save ourselves 2 damage here. It's probably worth it. Even though I could see a situation if we draw like 2 more starting towns or like Inspired Vantages, we are going to want this on 4. So like with that, because we have all the Sheltered by Ghosts, I think I'm just going to go starting town here. Reason being is that we really want to have access to all of our mana. And we do have like 7 other land that can only be used in the first 3 turns functionally. Or as our first 3 lands. Okay. So Simic / Bant Rhythm, Ouroboros. Definitely going to want to aim for Badger Mole Cub or the Ouroboros. I suppose we would also take like the Weaver as well. Like the Weaver is incredibly powerful in their deck. Let's get a little bit more white mana going. And Guardian is a nice pickup here. I don't think we need to Shelter by Ghosts on their Pollinator. Spread out the damage a little bit. They can block 1 and take 4. I suppose we could have also put it all on voice and maybe pushed an extra. Well, they still could have blocked 1. Never mind. It would have been the same. Yeah, so we probably will deal with Weaver. Weaver is very, very good in that deck. Sharpshooter is fun here, but I think Weaver is just too dangerous. We have to respect it. And luckily we've got voice, so they can't react with any kind of spells. Yeah, they can't cast spells thanks to voice. They're probably hoping to be able to counter with like, what is it, detect instability or whatever the heck it's called. Detect intrusion, I think. But yeah, none of that thanks to voice. Opponent is probably just now realizing they can't cast spells. All right, here we'll just even them out here so we can get us maximum damage. And with Frontline Rush next turn, we are pushing lethal. Badger Mole Cub is good, but it's not going to do it. Yeah, they really needed that Weaver that turn, so you definitely want to get rid of their Weavers. Okay, we'll just use Frontline Rush here because we will do the same attack essentially. We'll be pushing 8 damage, and then whichever 2 they don't block, we can give +4/+4 too, and that should be game. And that'll do it. So yeah, I think you do definitely want to run the full playset of Frontline Rush. It's just so powerful on turn 4 that you really want to have access to 1 or even 2 of them. You can just push through like just obscene amounts of damage that you shouldn't be able to otherwise. Also, notably, if you have like the Unicorn, like the Journey of the Neighborhood Guardian in play, you can use the other version of it to make 2 1/1 tokens, thus triggering the Guardian, and then like give +1/+1 to whoever you need to, just in case they have like weird blocks and you can force through extra damage. So opening hand is great. Hopefully we get turn 3, land on turn 3 for Howlsquad Heavy. Okay, Izzet Lessons. Gran is dangerous enough that I think it might be worth sheltering by ghosts right away. Maybe we take a turn off and play Voice. It's just a very dangerous card to like let this sit for even a single turn. So I think we might just shelter by ghosts. They won't be able to deal with our creature for, I guess, 2 more turns. We do lose a lot of tempo though by doing that. It's the only problem. Like, we're giving them a free attack with Gran next turn, which is not great. Yeah, this is difficult. I'm not sure what's correct here. Like, gives us a good attack now. We push a little bit of damage. We keep them off getting stuff in the yard for another turn. Man, Voice is so good though. I think we have to respect the Gran. I'm just gonna, not 100% sure if this is right, but like, it's such a powerful card in their deck. I suppose that they could bounce like the Sheltered by Ghosts, which would be a good play for them if they have like the 1 mana bounce. Actually, I suppose they could also do like the 1 damage to everything. I forgot about that. Maybe that was a misplay. They have a couple ways of dealing with it. Yeah, actually in hindsight, yeah, Demonstration. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty bad. So I think, yeah, in hindsight, it would have been better to go for Voice on 2. Then we would have this ready for turn 3. Yeah, I forgot about Ira's Demonstration. Gran is just so good. It's such a broken card. Thank God they don't have like access to like the full discount just yet. But yeah, I think that was definitely a misplay to play the Shelter by Ghost so early there. Forgetting about the Demonstration. Okay, now Gran is going full bore. Oof. Yeah, we might have just lost this one. Yeah, they're already on Monument. Yeah, it just gets out of hand so quickly. So funny, like such a powerful 1/2, just like a completely busted 1/2. They could have like it'll quench you here. We're definitely going to be fighting an uphill battle to try to come back on this one. It might be already too late. Yeah, like that one misplay was pretty rough. Now we've got like double Monument triggers. They don't have like the full combo yet, but they're very close. All right. This is rough, but I think Seamrip is actually maybe correct here. Just turning off access to discard is also like the discount on spells is so huge. Even though this like wastes a turn essentially, they can still use the Agnokella Okay, Ral is really good too.
I'll just invent a solution.
Yeah, with double monument, that might just be game. Okay, I guess okay, they did end up countering the Howlsquad Heavy.
A solution.
Yeah, this game is pretty much over at this point. All right, 4 and 2. See if we can fight on. Opening hand looks good. We've got turn 1 plays, which always feels good. Again, you want to prioritize your starting towns / inspiring vantages. Okay, up against Jeskai control. All right, let's do combat and then go for Guardian. This is a really tough matchup, just in general. If they get to 7 mana, the game might be over, so you kind of have to push it. Sometimes giving like really big blowouts for like Day of Judgment if they draw into it, or Ultima. But you kind of have to overextend because Jeskai Revelation is so busted. Alright, let's get another white source here. And let's push for Howlsquad. Might just die, but I think we just have to just kind of get it going. Like, they could have No More Lies, they could have Helix. There's so many options for them. They could have, like, Get Lost. You just kind of have to fight through it. Like, the other option there, we could have gone for, like, Frontline Rush end of turn, but it is kind of a weaker play. And you do kind of need the damage. Their deck feels almost perfectly crafted to beat ours with all of their 2-mana answers. Oh, I suppose they have Spell Snare also. Yeah, it's basically just like a very punishing match, and just you just have to almost kind of just draw well and just sort of get lucky a little bit. I suppose we could try to grow our claw. The problem is, like, it's such a blowout if they kill it in response. I think we want to just try to get Sharpshooter going. But we can attack first. And they've just got counters for days. So I guess they have like 12 main deck counters. between like the spell snares, the no more lies, and the 3 steps ahead. They may not run like the full play set of each, so maybe it's like somewhere between like 6 and 10, but it's still quite a bit. Now I think we just gotta try to grow this a little bit. Could get blown out here. But yeah, I think they're happy just to keep getting extra cards. And then if they have like Shiko, it's like such a problem. Although typically they wait for Shiko until after we discover the ways in the graveyard. So I think we have to go for voice here. Like if we try to go for encampment, it's too much of a blowout. Plus we want to grow our hired claw. So we'll go for voice and see if it sticks. We're 1 mana away from Jeskai Rev, so we got to push it now. Okay, they did have 3 steps. Interesting that they don't want to draw cards. I guess they have like more reactive spells. Okay, now we can save it with Frontline Rush. That's a minor blessing there. So now do they have Jeskai Rev or Shiko or something else crazy? Orang is also quite good. Although now, Shelter by Ghost is pretty good as well. Could go Sharpshooter plus Sheltered by Ghosts. It's the best use of our mana for sure. We could just take the hit and try to use it next turn. It's a lot of damage, but it might be right to try to get this on the field. It also disincentivizes them from going for like a board wipe. However, we are going to pain twice, go down to 9, so that puts us into like Helix range. We've only seen 2 Helixes. They could just kill us. So I think with that in mind, I think I'm probably just going to maybe do the safe play here and go for Shelter by Ghost while they're tapped out. Again, if they have Helix, we're kind of screwed anyways, but you just have to hope they don't have it. Again, they could have like Get Lost, Helix, or even like Day would do it. It's basically just like a nightmare match. Okay, very nice pickup here. Now we can Seam Rip, get it back. Put on the Shelter by Ghosts. And then play the Hired Claw and gain a life back. Staying at 10. They've got Jeskai Rev, we're in trouble, but we kind of were anyways. We need like a turn or 2 clearance for them to have nothing just to get through this. This is easily one of the toughest matchups. They just like their deck is just like all gas. So if we can navigate maybe like 1 or 2 more turns without a bunch of nonsense, maybe we survive. That's why you kind of have to just like push everything. Yeah, and they ended up having the Jeskai Rev. It's too bad. There's a good chance that they had it, but like we were kind of praying they didn't. All right, yeah. Untap land there would have been amazing, so we could like seam rip one of these guys, but I think we got to just keep replaying this and just hope that it sticks. If they have another Jeskai Rev, it's again a problem. Or really anything. Alright. Guess we go for Seam Rip. I suppose like we could potentially hold the Seam Rip in case they have another Seam Rip. I don't know how many Seam Rips they run, but 2 of these is pretty dangerous, so I think it's safer to get rid of them. Okay. Double No More Lies, that's fine. They can hit us in the... Actually, I guess they can't hit us in the air. We can block. Yeah, if they just draw land here, like maybe we try to get out of this. Oof, Braid, no! That's probably game. Now they can get their Seam Rip back if they care. Yeah, they could have pushed an extra 2 damage there with Anchorage, but it's mostly irrelevant. That is probably the hardest match. Outside of like a turn 4 Reanimator. All right, ended up going 4 and 3, so did okay. I think certainly I misplayed a couple times there in this series, so you know, hopefully see my mistakes and then like just don't make them. But I do like this deck, and all the win rate statistics will be in the link there in the description. Unfortunately, most of my tournaments with this deck have been on my laptop, so they're not going to be showing in the win rates. But I have run probably 5 or 6 tournaments with it, and it has gone 7 wins 3 separate times already. So I do think that it has potential, even though this particular showing was only kind of mediocre. But that's the deck, and any kind of changes, again, there's some of those like alternate options you could look at if you want to have like kind of like better resistance to board wipes. You could run like Impact Tremors, or potentially like War Leader's Call is another nice option that lets something stick on the battlefield. I kind of liked having the, you know, cards that are able to attack as well, so that's kind of up to your personal preference. You can also change out Seam Rip for Burst Lightning, you know, maybe up some more damage. You could also run like Boros Charm if you want to protect against board wipes. But I think that the Howlsquad Heavies are fantastic. Your other 3 drops are amazing. You could even run 2 of each of these if you wanted to. And then I think Sheltered by Ghosts is a must-have. You have to have that at the full play set just for the aggro matchups. Other than that, yeah, I really like the deck, and would love to see any comments you guys have, and we'll see you in the next one.